Protocol HMB 11.
Attention Galsec Commander. This is Endeavour to Inspire. The voice that rang through the Galactic Security Council chamber had a very different tone than what the captain of that particular vessel usually presented. One of the councillors leaned over towards his neighbour. "What is that tone?" the cubed, gelatinous alien whispered to the tiny biped that held a surprisingly calm demeanour, considering the 3-metre cube of acidic digestion was at an angle that threatened to topple over and engulf it. "Fear," the human councillor answered, with its cold gaze firmly focused on the hologram sound waves used to visualise the recorded transmission in the centre of the room. "We are currently transmitting from the Genova system, where a previously undetected station has opened fire. Long-range weaponry has been forcefully disabled, and our point defence capabilities are strained to their maximum capacity," the transmission continued. "Initial scans have revealed a multitude of cross-species technologies, and preliminary analysis has a high likelihood of this being a pirate station. We have suffered heavy casualties and a venting atmosphere from several decks. Our FTL capacity is gone, and... What is it, Lieutenant? I'm recording a transmission to the Council." The extended pause in the recording caused a large number of the councillors to shift uncomfortably in their seats. The human councillor merely leaned forwards and placed its elbows on the table surface in front of it, resting its chin on a clenched right hand. "He's doing what? I've never heard of that protocol. No, I will not relay a message from a Grade 2 engineer to the Council." The fist under the human councillor's chin opened up to be a palm that gently massaged the eyelids of the human with its thumb and ring finger, before flaring out to support the drooping head of the councillor as a loud sigh escaped the human female. "Pause playback." The First Chancellor stopped the recording. "Is the human representative functional?" Amy raised her head and saw that every councillor in the chamber, all 370 of them, were observing her. "Yes, First Chancellor. I am functional." "We recognise that the Endeavour to Inspire has a human crew member as your first contribution to the Galsec fleet, but rest assured we will do anything in our—" "Just continue the recording, First Chancellor. We will handle the politics after we have the full picture, please." Amy gestured towards the projector. The Chancellor nodded solemnly. "A valid point, Councillor," it said, quickly followed by, "Resume playback." "What? He's going to do what? 11? Why should I be versed in some obscure Earth literature?" "Well, stop him then." The recording cut off. The council room was very quiet, and slowly the number of eyes that focused on Amy grew until the point where she definitely knew that she was the only one that wasn't staring at her. "Councillor?" The First Chancellor called for her attention. "I feel that you know something we don't." "I do." Amy rose from her seat. "The human crew member on Endeavour to Inspire is a Grade 2 engineer. To be more precise, it is a male Grade 2 engineer who has spent 9 months being bored in his workshop." She sighed audibly. "When the Endeavour lost its offensive capabilities, he evoked a human emergency protocol, codenamed HMB. Amy tried her best to remain focused. "This protocol has been established as the primary reason females have longer lifespans than the males of our species." That statement made every councillor twitch uncomfortably in their seats. "It has, however, also proven itself as the primary logic behind our most successful endeavours," Amy explained, "like hunting, fire, aviation, astrogation, and FTL." "Did you not achieve astrogation by placing a human on top of a pile of explosives? I believe I watched a human comedy about that," a councillor from the other side of the chamber asked. "Documentary. And yes, we did put a human male on a large canister of explosives to break orbit." Amy sighed. "That seems unnecessarily reckless," the councillor replied with a grin that froze when Amy replied. "We also achieved FTL by increasing the amount of explosives to the point where reality gave up." The room went silent as a polite knock on the entry broke the conversation. "Enter." The First Chancellor was not used to the very human gesture of knocking on the door. One of Amy's aides entered the room. Doc nodded a silent apology to the councillors and made an effort to sneak run to her side, handing her a tablet and then sprinted back to the door and closed it behind them. Amy looked at the tablet and then to the First Chancellor. When did the Council receive communication from the endeavour to inspire?
3 hours ago, the alien replied. Why?
My office has just received this message. She waved the tablet and gestured towards the projector. May I?
If it holds relevance, the First Chancellor replied.
Amy connected the tablet remotely and pressed play. The hologram shifted to project the face of a human male. Right, engineer 2nd grade, why do I even bother? Hi Amy, it's me, Mac. The human smiled as it broke every communication regulative in existence. I think the captain is pretty pissed at the moment, so I figured I'd send this message to you before it finds me. We flew directly into a system that had produced an exorbitant number of wrecks to find out why the ships are getting damaged. The male physically gestured the air quotes. So dumbass does a blind jump into a potentially hostile system, and lo and behold, we get shot at. What a surprise. Mac didn't look the least bit surprised as he continued. The pirates knew what they were doing, targeted our weapons and FTL propulsion first. Then they simply peppered us with light ordnance in order to overwhelm the point defence. So I invoked Protocol HMB 11. The First Chancellor paused the playback.
The engineer bypassed the chain of command.
It shook the limb that occupied its eyes angrily. Amy wasn't paying attention. She was leafing through a digital version of the HMB protocol codes and stopped with a shocked expression on her face. With her mouth agape, she looked up at the councillors and shifted her eyes slowly to meet the gaze of the First Chancellor. I believe we should dispatch a rescue ship to collect the crew of the Endeavour, she said slowly as she regained control of her facial features.
What makes you think they're still alive?
The glob on her right asked out loud. She pressed the play icon on her screen. I rigged the engine section for remote operation and disconnected the FTL compartment, aimed it at the station and kicked it into Terran escape velocity. We're dead in the water, but still kicking. The projected face snapped to one side as a concerned expression washed over it. Shh. Gotta go. Love you, sis. It bid as a farewell before the recording ended. Amy looked to her galactic colleagues with a wide grin on her face. Then she slowly turned to look at the gelatinous councillor on her right. Everything is airdroppable. Once, she smiled politely.
Read by a good bean.